Let's talk a moment about dating online, dating over 50. I'm 59, and ghosting. To ghost or not to ghost? What shall I do? And I'm asking you, I'd like to know. I know what my opinion is. If I go out with a man, meet and greet, could be a coffee, or it could be a meal, a glass of wine, whatever it is from dating online in particular. Sometimes coffee bleeds over into wine, sometimes it ends short, sometimes you don't have to, whatever the case may be. The way that that person treats me is the way that I will respond after the date, meaning that even if I'm not interested in them romantically, if they have treated me respectfully and it just wasn't there, I will always take the time to say thank you, it was nice to meet you, and send a nice message, and just not for me. Sometimes I don't know it in the moment, sometimes I do know it. I do like to take a little bit of time after a date, like 2 or 3 days, to mull it over, see how I feel, unless something is really screaming at me to let me know ahead of time. I have complex PTSD. I know who I am, what my mechanisms are. I understand that, for example, as somebody who is given to fawning, which basically means going along to get along and being the good little girl, I know that I need to take extra care to make sure that I let my dopamine calm down a little bit and that I can gauge how I'm feeling, and then I can decide with a clear head, not just those little butterflies, which oftentimes means I feel like I'm at home where I never want to be again. Because some of that is familiarity. So I'm really trying to identify whether or not I am feeling comfortable. And there's particular markers that I look for that I think apply to most people, and I'll go over those in a moment towards the end of the video. If I am treated in a way that I feel, and usually it translates to the way most people would feel, that I have been disrespected, I don't meet that with respect. I meet that with nothing. It's not about matching the other person's energy. It's about, what is my energy worth? What's my time worth? What's my peace worth? And the feeling of, I don't owe respect to somebody who hasn't shown me respect. And in that case, more likely than not, I'm going to ghost. Now let me talk about the date that I went on. And I would like you to tell me what you would do and what you think I should do. I think everybody knows I'm going to do what I feel is right for me because I walk through life from the inside out. That doesn't mean I'm not interested in other people's opinions and perspectives, and I can learn something too. We all learn together, we all grow together, we all heal together. We are a wonderful community here of survivors of narcissistic family systems and abuse, and we understand each other. We understand that we have mechanisms that can interfere with us making good and healthy decisions sometimes. So here's how the date rolled out. It started with a coffee, and the coffee was going pretty well. I showed up. He actually looked better than his pictures. He is somebody who is, not that this is paramount to me, but he is well educated. He's well read. That is important to me. I'd like somebody that when, the day is over, we're sitting side by side reading our books or our papers or whatever it is, and you have that sort of wonderful, comfortable feeling. That's one of the things that I want in a relationship. I want to do life with someone. I want kitchen dancing. So I want someone who's a participant in life. So I show up, and he definitely looks better than his pictures. He seems at the time well-mannered and also taken by me and, the pretty, because he doesn't know me. And I recognize on one hand that's nothing special, but look how I'm smiling. It feels good to be appreciated. Nothing wrong with that. Everything right with that, actually. So we sit down, we're having a coffee and a couple of cakes, and we're talking about all sorts of things. And He's talking about his background a bit, and I'm not looking to out anybody, just to say that he has written for some very major publications in the area of economics. I mean, this is somebody who's very intelligent. Is he smart? I don't know, but he's definitely intelligent. And what I mean by that is he just book read? You know, is that it? Like, he reads books and he's got like all these degrees. He speaks lots of languages, actually. Or is he tuned in? Is he's somebody who has emotional intelligence? Is he smart? So things are going well, as you can tell. And I'm still like, I don't know, but things are going well. It's 20 minutes, 30 minutes into sitting with this person for coffee. And he said, I would like to take you for a meal. And I said, well, I could do that on Sunday. This was Thursday. Today is Friday. So this is fresh off the presses, pun intended. So as things are going well, we decide that we're going to go and have a glass of wine. Okay, great. No problems. Everything's good. We sit, we have a glass of wine. I live in a very small place right now. I'm in the Canary Islands, in Puerto de la Cruz. So this is a tiny little place with lots and lots of places to choose from. Everything's in walking distance. I'm very aware of my own safety and things like that. So for anybody out there who's like, you move locations and whatever, no, it's fine. It's really fine. It's okay. Anywho, we went, we had a glass of wine, and inevitably there's somebody playing music out there, and, you know, we're talking about the music, and he talks about the opera and different things he likes, and shows and musical. We have things in common. We are vibing. We're laughing a little. I'm like, okay, because I always, well, not always. I was getting a little nervous that he might be on such a serious lock that we may not have fun. And if you don't laugh on the first like meet and greet dates, I kind of feel like it's probably not going to happen. I get nervousness kicks in, but I'm also well aware of what it is that I need and I want and how I want to connect with someone. So we're having our glass of wine, and he said, are you doing anything? Can I invite you to eat? And I don't really like to drink on an empty stomach. Not that I was planning, and I did not have lots of drinks. That's one of my rules, by the way, is I can have a few glasses, like the best of them, but I know my limitations, and a few glasses means that my judgment is likely impaired. So I try to cap it at 2. And 1 if I'm not eating, 2 if I am. And if things are going well and I have the space and time, then I'll hang in there. And I know some dating expert's gonna go, no! Okay, I did it. What can I tell you? I'm so glad I did. To whoever that dating expert is going to say no, that kind of thing, because I now didn't waste my Sunday night. I'm not doing Sunday night. Now we're at dinner, and we were going to go to one place. It was closed, and we were going for a paella, and we sit down, and this is a man of means for sure. And we're looking at the menu, and I'm the kind of person that, you know, if somebody's inviting me, I'm aware that they're paying for the date. I'm going to not order the most expensive, extravagant thing on the menu, even if I want it. I'm respectful. Unless I'm paying for it, then it doesn't matter. But if I'm in a situation where, even not on a date, where it's a group meal and somebody else is paying and I've been invited, I'm going to have what I want, but I'm not going to go over the top and be disrespectful to somebody else who is being generous and treating me. And this is an important thing. Stick this, like, file this somewhere, because, you know, things happen. So as we're sitting there, and he's asked me, well, like, how do you make money? And I'm like, what? He's like, well, you know, a lot of women I date in London, and, you know, they're very, the way the heart to my heart is through a plane ticket. And I was like, whoa, that's clever. That's where my brain went. And he's like, you know, you take them on vacation and you pay for everything, and they don't contribute, and then, you know, you don't get, and like, he didn't finish that sentence, must have seen the look of horror on my face. And I'm sitting here going, wow, I've just agreed to have dinner with this man, and maybe I'll just be quiet and let him roll with this. Give me all of what you got, because when somebody shows me and tells me who they are, I believe them. Thank you so much, Maya Angelou, for that. As he's going on about money, and then it's a divorce and men losing their shirts, and all of the bitterness is starting to come out. He's been divorced for 20 years and he does well. I know he does well, but he's trying to figure out, I think, whether or not I'm a gold digger. And I'm like, I work, so I don't know what you're on about. I've been traveling, living remotely for the last year. I don't have somebody else funding my life but me, and that's the way it is. And I'm grateful that I am capable of providing for myself and doing so in a way that's comfortable, that I'm now secure. It wasn't always this way. I've had evictions in my past. I've had struggles. I've been broke. And for those of you who are new here, I was homeless when I was 13 years old because I ran away from home. So I've been up, I've been down, I've been sideways, and I'm in a good place, which is none of his business. But he's going on about it. Then he's looking at the menu. He's like, oh, this is more expensive than the other place we were going to go. Inside voice. You know, somebody, you can comment about that. I have feelings about that. That's an inside voice. Even like if you're in a position where you can't afford that, then, you know, there's menus outside. You could have looked and gone, oh, nothing I'm really interested in. But he was heavily bringing money into the room. And by the way, I'm no longer laughing. I'm no longer thinking this funny. So we order. I go, you know, whatever. We have the paella. He picks the paella. I'm fine with that. I like everything. I eat everything. It's easy for me. And the bread comes, and it comes with an aioli. Here in Tenerife, a lot of places serve the bread and potatoes with aioli. It's pretty common. Also, I know what aioli is. But because I don't have a PhD like him, he goes, that's aioli. I was like, I think I know that. And then I looked at him and I said, what kind of women do you date that wouldn't know that that's like aioli? And I don't know, maybe that was a bit snarky, but well. And somewhere on there it says it, right? Oh, if my best friend had been watching me through this meal, she would have been like, how are you still sitting there? And the answer is, I started to fawn. Because as he was going on and he was insulting women as a whole, and this whole financial thing, and just going on and on and on and on and on, I was like, not really pushing back and being my normal personality. Part of that was I was kind of just being quiet to see what else he was going to give me, because I already knew that I didn't want to be on a date with him. I didn't want to be there, but we ordered food, had a glass of wine, like whatever, I'm here. I could easily go and buy my own meal. The thought did occur to me, but I hung in there because we're halfway through at this point. So now the paella comes, and he's like asking me, oh, like, what do you want out of a relationship? Blah, 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 blah. You know, the same talk that everybody asks and we should be asking. And I said, or out of a man or a partner. And I said, well, one of my biggest things really is thoughtfulness. And I want somebody who's thoughtful because I'm thoughtful. And I actually have 3 things that I look for in every relationship: friendship, romance, it doesn't matter, that I look for. And those things are, I look whether or not I feel safe, whether or not I feel seen, and whether or not I feel cherished. And I have to have all 3 of those to want to be in a relationship with someone. That means every relationship I have, that's what I provide, that's what I would like to receive, and I don't see any reason to spend time or lose my peace or contentment on trying to fit a square peg in a round hole and settle for relationships that don't give me the things, and that I can't give the things that I so enjoy also reciprocating. Because when we feel safe, seen, and cherished, we can love with an open heart and receive and have that connection. And it's the most beautiful thing in the world. I don't go into all that. I just say thoughtful because I'm not giving him anything at this point. There's nothing to give. I'm just kind of coasting and thinking, okay, well, there must be something I'm going to learn here. I don't think any experience is a waste, really. Almost any experience is a waste. My mother was a waste, but you know what I mean. I hope you know what I mean. So as we're sitting there, the paella has come and there's 2 spoons, and he goes, help yourself and ladies first. And I'm like, well, there's 2 spoons. I mean, normally you take the 2 and you plate each other's food. Somebody could be doing that. And sure, I could have done that for him, but he's ticked me off. So I feel like, maybe you could make it up to me and do it for me. Not that I need you to. Independent, not self-reliant, independent. But anyway, I'm getting a little bit of food and I'm eating and I'm going in for a little bit more. And the next thing I know, he's scraping that paella pan and he's got 3/4 of it going down his body. And I've had 1/4 of a meal. And I'm thinking, you just asked me what I'm looking for and I said thoughtful. All right, keep going, dude. The shovel is only getting bigger. So now he's like, do you want dessert? No, I want out. I want to go, So we walk out together, and now I'm in full fawn. 100% I'm in full fawn, because he grabs me and he goes to make out with me. Not so full fawn that his tongue got down my throat. Thank goodness. I know that was graphic. I'm so sorry. But full fawn that he grabbed me pretty firmly and tried to plant one on me and then hugged me, and he had me in an embrace, and we're in the middle of the street. There's passersby. I don't feel unsafe. I just feel the ick. Have you guys seen, what's that? Somebody help me, the Netflix series where she talks about the ick. Oh, I can't think of it right now. Nobody remembers the name of that. Somebody please comment in the name of that. Anyway, now, I've been feeling the ick all night, since we got to the restaurant. Prior to that, I didn't, or I wouldn't have been at the restaurant. Anyway, I have this belt bag that I was wearing, and it buffered me from the intensity of the hug. And I did not realize right in that moment how it buffered me from what he was really trying to do. And I'm going to, here's a picture of the shirt that I was wearing, so you get a vibe for how I showed up. Not that what I was wearing matters whatsoever, it does not, but I know somebody out there is going to give me something for this. I'm just going to be, putting that back on whomever is thinking that ahead of the game, because I know how people comment to me about my body, and that's not my problem. I wear what I'm comfortable with. So anyway, the hug is over. I've been saved by the purse. And we're walking towards where I live. And like I said, this is a very small island. And I wasn't wanting him necessarily to walk me home, but regardless, any direction I would have gone in, it wouldn't have made much of a difference. Looking back, I do think it would have been better for me to say, hey, I'll walk myself home, but I wasn't really thinking also. I was fawning full on in that place that is breathing and blinking and just exchanging pleasantries, knowing that when I get to the bottom of my hill where my building is, he's not coming up, and that there's lots and lots of people around. I can sit here and say, oh, if no people were around, it would have been different and whatever. And that's actually true, because if there was nobody around and I was in a different circumstance, I wouldn't have moved to a second location with him. I'm careful in that way. And I think we all should be, because you don't know who a person is. Even times where I've left dates in the past where I've been in a more isolated situation, I wait for the other person to leave and then I go. And I go, watching, making sure they don't know the direction I'm going in. It's kind of how I'm wired as well. But anyway, he walks me to the bottom of my hill and I turn around abruptly. And as we're walking, I left this part out. So throughout dinner, not throughout coffee, not throughout the wine, but throughout dinner, I did notice he was here and there. And it was that kind of look that makes you feel like you need a shower right in that moment. It wasn't just a mere glance of admiration. I'm okay if somebody looks. It's like, I work hard for this body and I want to be admired to a respectful degree. This was not that. This is like I'm lunch meat or paella. Anyone to scrape the bottom of the bowl of. So just as we're approaching my building, he says something to the effect of, you have wonderful chicken breasts. I don't want to get zapped on this video. I hate when they push things down because you say a certain word. And I said to him, that's not okay. Now the fawn is dying. Marnie's coming back in. Little Marnie's going, help us. And I said, that's not okay. And that is not on the menu. And he's like, he doesn't say anything. We get to the bottom of my hill, like this all happened pretty quickly. And I flip around and I go, well, good night. Because, I'm not coming up. Okay, well, I'd love to do this again. Like, he's awkward, but he's also not aware that he has done anything wrong. No, none, zero, zilch. Because when I said that wasn't on the menu and I said it wasn't okay, what tells me he doesn't think he did anything wrong by objectifying me that way. By the way, he's a father of 2 daughters. Terrifying. He didn't apologize. He wasn't embarrassed, nothing. And I know what you're all thinking with the MPD thing, and I think so too. And I'm not a diagnostician, but there's definitely something very, very disconnected there. Very disconnected. So, in light of the disrespect, do I show respect by giving him feedback or by saying, thank you for dinner, because I can't say it was nice spending time with you. That would be a lie. Thank you for dinner. I wish you well. You're not for me. That to me is giving respect. What do you think I should do? What would you do? And what do you think about the date? Now, I know I said to you I was going to give you some tips and tricks about how we check in with ourselves and knowing our own early warning systems and all of that to decipher whether or not you're definitely in the wrong place or you might be in the right place. Because time is also something that we all need, even when we think we're in the right place. A really good across the board thing, and this goes for anyone and everybody out there, and we talk about energy vampires, it is a thing. If you leave an interaction with someone, date or otherwise, and I'm not talking about an interaction where you've partied till 3 in the morning and of course you're tired. I'm talking about just a run-of-the-mill interaction, a dinner, a coffee, whatever it is, and you get home and you are completely drained and exhausted, it's because your nervous system was identifying something that your mind hasn't caught up to yet. That's a red flag. Something's not right. That person didn't make you feel comfortable. There wasn't comfort in that interaction. It wasn't peaceful. Something was getting stimulated and your body is speaking to you. Please listen to it because it never lies to you. I don't do absolutes very often. Your body does not lie to you. Your brain does. By going, I don't feel that bad, or it wasn't that bad. Your brain gaslights and lies to you. But if you're really, really listening to your body, it doesn't. What are your trigger symptoms? Mine is shortness of breath. So when I go to sleep at night, if I've had something happen during the day that has impacted a memory that I can't remember, I will have that anxiety that shows up as shortness of breath. Like, I'll do that several times as I'm trying to fall asleep, and depending on how bad it was, depends how long it takes me to be able to find my air again. So figure out what your tell is. Your coping mechanisms. I'm not a fawn with everyone. I'm a fawn with someone who's unsafe, and I'm not a fawn. I shouldn't label myself that way. I do not fawn in the face of everyone. Only with the people who somehow are sending me a message. I mean, this one wasn't sending me a message. This one was writing all over me in red marker, but sometimes it's more subtle than that. And if I am the pick-me girl, if I'm doing the fawn thing, the go along, to get along, anything along those lines, freezing is my other one. I know that there's something going on that my body is speaking to me. This is where your coping mechanisms are your superpowers and become tools for you to use. They're not all bad. We needed them when we were children. They got us into adulthood. Now we get to take those things that are part of who we are and use them for our own benefit. So those are some of the tips and tricks. And if you have some tips and tricks, please share them here. We're a community of people who who are growing and healing together and sharing our experiences. And I love your feedback, and I appreciate you all so much for being here. And hopefully the next time I go on a date, because I'm not giving up on love, it will work out better than this last one. Have a great, great day, and I will see you soon.